Hey,
Good
Paula, good morning.
morning.
Welcome to the Plant Power Half Hour. We're talking about how it all began, or actually, it all began in a garden. Are we in our second month of this book? This has been an amazing journey going through 3 to 4 herbs a week. I'm excited to talk about the ones that we have today. I call them the stinky herbs myself, or yeah, stinky herbs myself. They're a little bit more stinky than even patchouli, which is not my favorite. And so I'm going to
Mhm.
start off with a confession. Last week, you told me about filling up the belly button with the patchouli and seeing what that would do. Well, I'm packing, obviously. Everything's gone from behind me and moving, and I can't find the patchouli. I know it got packed because I have a tote of oils, and then I have a backpack where I carry all of my kind of my essential stuff. I call it my first aid kit, where I can, go meet with anybody anytime and have kind of my key oils with. And I thought it was in there, but it wasn't. So it's underneath all my oils books. So that's going to have to wait till I'm closer to your neck of the woods up in Minnesota. So that's my confession. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Yes, these are some more fragrant oils that are not people's first choice because of scent, but they are the first choice for calm and sleep and relaxation and healing. So that's kind of our theme today with this combination of four of these.
Beautiful. We're starting off with hyssop. We know that it's mentioned 12 times in the Bible. I have I'm the story girl. You get to do the facts. The story, today's totally coach confession day for me. So when I lived in Minnesota and I worked at the community garden, I planted an herb garden, and locally there was this giant blue hyssop, and I'm sure that you've seen it. It's called anise hyssop, and it gets 6 to 8 feet tall. It is huge. And I saw it everywhere. I saw it at the botanical gardens, in any of the prairies or wild plant areas, they would plant it. And I kept thinking, hyssop, that's the one from the Bible. Oh, yeah, I know hyssop. I know hyssop. That is not the same plant. Yeah, it's so there's multiple plants that are called hyssop. So it's really important when we are working with herbs, medicinal herbs, and essential oils, that we're talking about the right plant, because sometimes we can refer people to something that can actually cause more harm than help, or it can exacerbate a problem versus calm it down. So hyssopsis, hyssopus, hyssopsis, that is the Latin name for the plant, the medicinal plant. Is a European plant. So that's the one you want to use here. The other place that I've had that happen with folks is lavender. Lavandula augustifolia is the Latin name for lavender. We're not talking about lavender today, but it's really important to use that one and not lavandin or something else, because other lavenders are higher in camphor. And lavender is known for soothing burns and soothing skin and soothing bug bites. But if you use something like a lavandin that is higher in camphor, it causes the burn to go deeper, and it can irritate wounds and skin lesions. So we want to make sure that we're using the right plants. And I learned my lesson with hyssop. So that's my hyssop story.
That's awesome. Yeah, you are so good at identifying plants or seeing what they are when we're out for walks and things. And I'm just like, oh, I can't remember what Lisa said that is. And that's definitely not my skill. My skill is looking at the bottle, reading the name, and knowing what do I do with it. Go
Yeah,
from there.
yeah. So
So
what do we do with this plant, hyssop? What do we do with that oil?
yeah, hyssop can be a great one for spiritual cleansing. It can be a great one for respiratory support, but just it's also a great calming one. And again, for skin injuries is another great place to utilize that. Um, for bruising is also really a helpful one too. So putting it on a washcloth around an ice pack as you're putting it on an injury, that can be a very soothing and help really the area heal a little bit quicker.
Yeah. Moves the circulation up to there to help disperse the bruising or the pooling, the blood pooling that's happening. I know I've heard people use it for arthritis, and I've actually had the tea where you drink it with a little bit of raw honey for brain function, like not brain function. Like I hate to use the word headaches, but when you're having tension, tension, not so much like migraine or anything like that, not on those big things, but just tension. Just that smell of that, and I really enjoy the fragrance of it that way with a little bit of honey. Yeah,
Yeah, so this is steam distilled from the leaves and the
yeah.
stems of the plant. Um, and if you remember from our Bible stories, this is what they use the branch of this with a sponge of vinegar on to reach up to Jesus when he said, I thirst. It's also the branch that they use to wipe the blood over the doors, the blood of the Passover lamb over the doors to protect their family so that when death came through, it was not affecting their families that had that marking at the door. Yeah, we see
You
it
used
many times.
it. Yeah. Have you used it for anything in particular? Have you tried it for something that you've had success with?
Just for some skin stuff,
It's
I have not diffused it, but she does have a diffuser blend listed in here of putting hyssop with frankincense, eucalyptus, and tea tree. Um, and she also recommends diffusing hyssop to stimulate creativity. So
okay.
I haven't experienced that, but I'm willing to try that since she's recommended it here, and see how that influences my day as I'm working through some new projects. That might be a good inspiration.
Yeah, I know you're studying for your board exam right now. It'd be interesting to take hyssop, peppermint, rosemary, some of those, and study different
Components.
pieces, yeah, components, and then have cotton balls like in your shirt, or like a snip, one of those nasal inhaler sniffer thingies, but just a few drops, have three different ones, three different colors, and say, okay, I'm studying anatomy now, I'm gonna grab and see if it doesn't help with the recall. I don't know if you can even do that with in tests where you're being monitored, but I just have some nasal congestion, can I smell my but if you just chose one of those, you could stick a cotton ball in your bra and you'd get that scent. And see if because there's colleges do studies on this, and it's like they're using students in these studies to have them study while smelling it, and then actually diffusing it in the rooms when they're taking the tests, and they do notice that they have higher test scores for the kids who do this and use the scents versus those that don't. So it'd be fun to have a real live a test subject like you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'll have to apply it
Let us know.
in the breaks. But yeah.
There you go. Yeah, you have to let us know. See if you notice a difference if you start
Mhm.
studying with it, and then if you do take the test.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, when you take the test. I know you are taking the test.
Yes.
Hey, did you want to read that psalm that she shared here?
Go ahead. I already turned the
Okay.
page.
Yeah, sure. It's purge me with hyssop and I shall be clean. Wash me and I shall be whiter than snow. It's a common, and it's Psalm 51:7. And it's common. We do hear that. I've heard that often. I didn't remember the word hyssop being in there, but I've heard, wash me white as snow, and we kind of eliminate that first part. So that was kind of an aha for me of, oh, yeah, that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
our
Yes.
next one,
Uh,
what's our next one?
helichrysum. How do you say it, Lisa?
I say helichrysum, but yes, I've heard it the other way as well. So helichrysum.
Yeah. She
Oh,
also references that she says it helichrysum, like
mhm.
healing oil.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's like a nice way to remember that or think of that. Anyhow, any way you say it, potato, potato, it's still the same thing. It is still, this one is distilled from the tiny flowers of the plant. But again, it does have that strong, strong scent. Um, but super healing. I've used this one to heal skin. So after some accidents, this has been helpful to heal skin and get that um, that texture back again. So helping so that it's not such a big scar, so that it can be smoother skin, and utilizing that as effectively, not on the actual cut itself, but afterwards to heal the scar has been really helpful for me. Um, it is a pricier oil. So a good quality, she even references a good quality helichrysum oil, it costs about $1 a drop. So it's very valuable, but again, you only need a drop for an entire scar, or diluting it will help it last longer as well. This one I needed it diluted for myself as well. Test it for what you need to, but especially on sensitive areas, this is one I diluted, and to make my oil stretch a little bit longer too, because it's a spendy one for that. This one, I would not diffuse. I would just use it topically. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that.
We found the one you found my patchouli.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. They call it the healing powerhouse, or immortal, or everlasting. So in ancient times, this was exactly what you said. It is helichrysum, because it's such a powerhouse. I know there's a brand, or there's products called Deep Relief, but when I think of deep relief, I think of like really deep muscles. Like I'm moving boxes and I need some right now on my shoulders. And so I create my own kind of deep relief with other essential oils in there. I like peppermint and different things, think wintergreen, things that increase circulation. And so I always put a drop of the helichrysum in there, because it just intensifies that deepness of the relief when you're using it for, after workouts, or when you've been straining your muscles to move. So that's the biggest way that I've used it. Gary Young also talked about, actually it wasn't Gary Young. I think it was Gary Young that did the protocol on Dr. David Stewart. Dr. David Stewart wrote Healing Oils of the Bible. We use his material and teach classes around that a lot. And he had some hearing issues, muffled hearing, and was struggling to pick up certain sounds. And Gary Young had done a protocol on his ears. Did you ever hear about this?
Mm-mm.
Did you hear about it? So he would put helichrysum in his hand and just rub it, activate it, and then kind of rub across the ear. Now, we're not putting the oil in the ear, but we're putting it around the ear and kind of rubbing it into the little area on your ear. So just not dropping it in, just rubbing it so that the body can absorb it in there. And Dr. Stewart said he heard kind of and it opened up the ears. And so I have struggled with dizzy spells my whole life. I had a traumatic brain injury when I was 3 years old. And so I get that spinning sensation, and there's not much that they can do about it. It's like permanent damage. The crystals in my ears get all locked up, and then I get really dizzy. So I've used helichrysum in that same process, in and around my ears, and then I do the exercises where you lay on the bed and you turn your head, and it can actually stop that from happening in my experience. Now, I'm not saying it would work that way for everybody, but when I heard about how Dr. Stewart had success with some hearing related activities, I thought, gosh, this would be one that maybe I can use to help open that up. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I also use purification, same thing. I do purification in the same process, which is what I did. Instead of the patchouli, I started using the purification this week because I had that close at hand, both in the belly button and for the ears. And it just helps. So
Awesome. Oh, that's great
yeah.
experience that you found a solution when there isn't anything else you can do. So that's great to
Yeah.
utilize that.
Let's try things, you never know. Be safe, but experiment and try things. And, we find new uses for essential oils all the time, things that it's not necessarily known for that, but we don't know all the constituents in these plants and in the oils when they're extracted. So they're miraculous, and they go find within the body what needs to be found. And that's what I love about holistic medicines, or
Yeah.
holistic practices. Yeah. Yeah.
Helichrysum, because it is a more expensive oil. If you're not going to invest in a single bottle of it, look for other blends that already have it in. So I know our Panaway blend already has it in because it's a very good
Yes.
healing property. And I'm sure there's many others that I don't recall off the top of my head. I'm guessing the Deep Relief probably has it in as well.
Right. Yeah.
But even when you search on our website, search for that name, it'll come up with that oil, but it'll also come up with all the blends that already include that as a good option. So, especially if you're not really enjoying the scent of it, maybe a blend would help you warm up to the idea of it in combo.
Yeah. Love it. All right, we're moving on. Which one is next?
Let's go with valerian.
Valerian. Okay. Nature's Valium, according to Hippocrates.
Mhm.
How have you used valerian?
This is a bedtime one. And this
Mhm.
one comes from the root of the plant. So definitely earthy. Definitely has, again, not the sweet aroma at all. So when I do use this, I tend to put it on my feet. I make a roller and roll this on my feet. Other people will put it in their diffuser. If I diffuse it, I have to add orange and other things like lavender or cedarwood or other combo to it. By itself is just too earthy, too strong.
See,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
that
How do
was,
you?
yep. See, I have had clients, and I think it's historically there's not just my clients, but other people have referred to it as stinky feet.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, yep, it smells like stinky feet. And so guess where we should use it? On our feet, not just for stinky feet, but to pull it into our bloodstream through our feet.
Mm,
Don't get it anywhere near here. You may not
right.
enjoy the scent of it. Honestly, I have used the herb more than I have used the oil, but rutavala.
Hmm.
Um, and remind me again what's in that. That's a Young Living formula that has valerian and something else in it. Do you remember what it is? Rutavala?
Off the
Are
top of
you?
my head, I don't.
Yeah,
It's
that's
got
okay.
a lot of those stronger smelling
It
oils. So
does. And
that one
so
too is
yeah,
already
and so
prepared.
valerian is in there, and so that is how I have used the oil where it's in that formula. Man, and they say Hippocrates named it nature's Valium, and that Rutavala, that one works for me like nature's Valium. It is that knocks me out. Between using that on my feet and cedarwood just on my temple, it's I don't know. That's sweet dreams, baby. If I'm struggling with sleep, especially menopausal sleep related things, I love that combination. And I don't know what else is in that rutavala. I should probably look it up and know what they are, but I just use it that way. I do have the bottle of it, but it's very strong smelling. And then I've used the capsules. What I will tell you about valerian is people think that it is for sleep. And in a sense, it is because it calms the nervous system, stops that hamster wheel in the brain so that you can slow down and focus. And for some people, when you do that, they are like the Energizer Bunny and they're going to clean the entire house and sort through all of their closet and they have the garage organized by morning. And they're like, "What did you give me? That didn't help me sleep at all." But what it does, because it calms the nervous system, your brain all of a sudden goes, I can focus. And you can knock down a task, just because you have that ability to focus. You don't have the hamster wheel overwhelming you and stopping you and blocking you from doing things. So some people respond differently. That's the only caveat, or it's not really a warning being a negative thing, but I will say, if you have that kind of response when you're using it, continue to use it that way because it's helping to calm your nervous system in a way that maybe some of the other essential oils or other plants don't. That one just happens to work for you that way. We can find something else if you have sleep related issues that will help to calm the nervous system in a way to relax you to go to sleep. That might be chamomile or lavender or some of those other things. But valerian has been known to wake people up by calming them down.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I've just had it as a sleepy one. It's in some of my sleep blend
Yeah.
teas that we like here.
Yeah.
Um, and then Dawn Camp in the book also recommends putting just 2 drops in a veggie capsule because, again, you don't want to taste it. That way, the veggie capsule, you get it down into your system, and that can also help soothe the body. So, multiple ways to use this topically, aromatically, or internally, as you can imagine, finding ways to calm your body. And each version may be more effective than the other once you start experimenting with that too. So, yeah, everyone is unique and has a different experience with that. The other recipe that I love that she put in is um, putting it with Epsom salt as a foot soak. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I like it.
Epsom
You
salt
know what?
makes a
My
big
aha.
difference.
Oh, go ahead.
Epsom salt makes a big difference for calming the body.
The
Just
magnesium.
taking those moments just to sit and relax, but also adding that in with it. Yeah, that would be a great combo. I will definitely do that.
Yeah, I love it. The aha for me on this one, I had never heard this before, is it will lessen the frequency and severity of hot flashes and also lessen physical, emotional, and behavioral symptoms of premenstrual syndrome. That I have never used valerian for that. I mean, it makes sense because it calms down the mind, the racing of the mind, and the things that are going on. But I've never really specifically used it for that. So might be worth a try.
Mhm. And then our last oil is vetiver. This also comes from the roots. It's from a native grass to India. It has very long, tenacious roots that help with erosion of the area. So, again, those root oils, earthy, right? This one I don't think is as bad. Um, but it definitely is a thick oil in the bottle. So it's one that you need to hold in your hand for a while or hold in your bra or your pocket to let your body temperature warm it up so that it's easier to drip out of the bottle. It's going to be one to test your patience as you're just waiting for that drop to fall in your diffuser or on your foot.
Yeah. And you got to use your tip where you said to put the carrier oil around the lid of what do you call it? The inside of the lid of
Threads,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and the
Mhm.
threads because it does get sticky and it will pull that what is it called? The drip
Little
controller or
the reducer orifice on there.
reducer.
Mhm.
Yeah, the reducer orifice gets stuck to the top of it. That's happened to me before on this one too.
Yeah, yeah. This one too, she also recommended into a warm bath. She has a diffuser combo here that I'm going to try today. It's called Fresh Rain. It's 3 drops of vetiver and 6 drops of lemon. So that might be fantastic. I'm going to give that one a try as well. She's also got a focus roller recipe in here with 15 drops of vetiver, 15 drops of lavender, and 15 drops of cedarwood, and then fill the rest with coconut oil or other carrier oil. So, great one for studying, for concentrating, for getting rid of some test taking jitters, any of that kind of stuff was on my mind. But really, who couldn't use more concentration for a project, for work, for, having a conversation, like anything that you can use more focus on? This would be a great one.
called the oil of tranquility, which I love. And then vetiver slows down. She said one of her ladies in her oil class said vetiver slows down the traffic in her mind. And
Mm.
that's exactly how I see that. I had have worked with children who have a lot of traffic in their mind. And it does creating a roller ball, or if you don't want them to have the liquid with them, creating one of those sniffers where it has the cotton inside the little plastic tube and they can carry it in their pocket and sniff it. Uh, Putting it on those kids' feet before they go to school helps them with the ability to focus during class. And if they need a refresher, I had one of the kids that I was working with had the sniffer and would go to the bathroom. He wouldn't pull out in front of other people, but he noticed when he couldn't pay attention and was having a hard time, he'd ask if he could go to the bathroom, go into the bathroom and smell that sniffer as long as it would take for him to calm his nervous system down so that he could go back in and actually listen and be fully present in the classroom. So I think this is a great oil to use for kids who have focus issues. Definitely try it if you're seeing. And what's amazing with kids that once you give it to them and it works for them, they don't leave home without it.
Mm.
I have a nephew who's on the spectrum, and like his oil is lavender. Like he uses it for bug bites, and it just when he knows when he puts it on, he just feels so lavender with a little bit of vetiver, and it really just helps him take some of that nervous energy and put it aside so that he can be fully present because he struggles so much at school with being able to pay attention and remembering what he has to do and taking tests and bringing home homework and all of those things. And so he's found that perfect combination. And I think there are many, many oils that can work with kids. We just need to find the right combination for them so that they have better focus and ability to study.
Mhm. Yeah, and ones that they're open to trying and
Yeah.
experiencing.
Yeah.
It might be maybe not some of these hearty, earthy ones right
Let that
away,
pitch.
but
Yeah.
eventually they'll come to find these as being even more supportive as they go on their journey too. And all of us could use the ability to be more mindful and more present in everything that we're doing. We're so involved in thinking through our mind what's happened in the past or what do I need to plan for the future versus being really present where we are today in this moment, appreciating who we're with and what we're doing. um, these would be great tools to bring forward for that
Yeah.
for that specific reason of mindfulness.
Great conversation today. I didn't even know what we were going to talk about until we started. And man, do I have stories, pulling those stories out of the years. A big, huge thank you to Don Camp again for this opportunity to use this book. I think we're going to put all of these videos together and create a series for you guys. So watch for that, sign up for the emails, reach out to us and let me know if you want to be on that list to receive it. So you get all of these in one place. We're going through pretty much every single oil in the book will be covering over this 2-month period. So I encourage you to check that out and come on back next week when we're doing written down manuka, cedar, tea tree, and myrtle oils we're talking about next week. And is next week the last week?
Yes,
I think
yes,
it's a
we'll wrap it up.
final episode. Yeah. We'll have to let you know next week what we're doing for the month of July, but we have finished the book. Maybe there'll be another book. Maybe it'll be something else. We'll let you know. Come on back next week and find out. Thanks, Paula. Have a great afternoon.